Hey guys, how you doing? Hope you're doing okay. Going to read through most of the article here. I might skip a little bit. I might give you a bit of an overview, but the headline tells us something kind of shocking. I thought it was shocking. After 30 years, Electronic Arts, EA, and FIFA might be parting ways. So the article tells us that, as we all know, sports games are a major genre across all gaming platforms, even mobile. And we've got the likes of NBA 2K, Madden, and of course FIFA. FIFA being overwhelmingly the most popular soccer or football game. And this article is telling us that there may be the possibility that Electronic Arts, EA, may be parting ways with FIFA for a couple of different reasons. So the article refers to a company meeting last year in November with EA's CEO Andrew Wilson. He was asked about how the licensing negotiations were going with FIFA, because of course Electronic Arts has to pay a huge amount of money to FIFA to be able to slap those four letters on each game box. And the EA CEO, Andrew Wilson, basically came back with a little bit of a negative response. He said that FIFA is very strict in regards to how the game functions. It must be 11 versus 11. And I get the understanding, I get the feeling that Andrew Wilson would prefer to have more flexibility, to have a game with multiple different modes, which FIFA seemingly wouldn't be particularly happy with. Perhaps 5 versus 5, street soccer, street football. EA have previously had a street football, street soccer game or two. So maybe that's the kind of thing that they would like to have, really, to keep things fresh and to offer more content to their customers. And of course, their customers buy a new game every year, pretty much. So they're kind of deserving of additional content, really, aren't they? So it seems like EA's a little bit unhappy with the restrictions laid down by FIFA, and they're also unhappy with the costs involved, the licensing costs, which apparently may be doubling. So apparently FIFA is allegedly demanding near double licensing fees, which could be around $2.5 billion over the next decade. $2.5 billion. So I'm not sure if you're that economically aware, but $2.5 billion is also known as a shit ton of money. Sure, it's spread over a decade, so $250 million each year. But even so, I mean, that's a huge expense. If EA were able to not pay that amount, then that's $250 million they can throw at other development. So that's where EA are at. They've called the costs of the licensing fees an impediment. And, they could splash that money around to get multiple other licenses for, different sports or different this, different that. So, why are they concentrating on FIFA? That's what they're thinking. The article also mentions that when people think of FIFA, they rarely think of the Federation Internationale of Football Association. They think of the game. So they feel that they've massively strengthened the FIFA brand, yet they're still having to pay an extortionate amount of money to be able to license their game. And they're thinking, well, you know what? We can spend that money elsewhere. We don't have to have our football game called FIFA. We can call it Electronic Arts football game. We could call it Puma football game. We could call it Nike football game. We could get sponsored by someone else. We could be Cristiano Ronaldo's football game. Why spend that amount of money on FIFA when it's also so restrictive? So there we go. We don't know if this is actually going to come to pass. EA might be saying this kind of thing as a bit of a negotiating tactic to pull down the near doubling of license fees. But who knows? Who knows? There are successful. I mean, Pairs isn't licensed. I think I've not played Pairs in quite a while, but you know, there we go. Maybe that's interesting. If it is, like, comment, subscribe.